So today I'm going to be going over the discussion question for week 6, discussion question 1. The question is, what were Jesus' favorite teaching techniques, and can these be utilized today, and how? And so firstly, the few different types of techniques that Jesus used. He used dramatic language to kind of shock people. You see that a lot with either him almost over exaggerating, but just using different phrasing that people weren't used to kind of grab people's attention. Like when Jesus said that, gouge out your eye if it causes you to sin, or cut off your hand if it causes you to sin. Obviously, he doesn't want us to do that. It's just kind of a dramatic way of saying that, get rid of the things in your life that are causing you to sin. But of course, that's more attention grabbing, which I think is something that's really good to use. And then the other one is his use of parables. And so he uses parables all the time. It's very common of Jesus to use parables. And he used these to show societal problems from a different perspective. So instead of, coming right out and saying what he was saying, he would do it in a way that caused you to think about it from a different perspective. Whereas, if you had a bias towards something, like in the case of David with Bathsheba, there's that story. That wasn't Jesus, obviously, but he told this story and of someone who stole a sheep or used a sheep of his neighbor. And obviously David, the man who committed the sin, was like, that man should be put to death right now. And then I can't remember who it was, but they said, you are that man. And so it gets rid of the bias in that situation and causes you to look at it as, in a different way, which I think is really key for a lot of things like that. And as far as whether these can be used today in our ministry, I absolutely believe they can. You don't see a ton of parables, I guess, but stories can always be, like I said, to get rid of the bias and mix it up a little bit. I think it can be really key. And so hopefully, some people use them. And there's always nonfiction books that, the Chronicles of Narnia, that are based on biblical themes but don't directly come out and say that they're about the Bible or things like that. And I think those things are really good. And then the other one of using dramatic language, I think that can definitely be used today to spread the gospel. With all these things, around, with as many teachings as there are, to get something to stand out, if it's dramatic and, very, shocking to some people, not in a bad way, obviously. You don't want to offend people, but Jesus did offend people. If it's necessary to offend some people for their wrongdoing, then I guess. But I definitely think that it can be useful in today's ministry. So